All right, we are getting ready to introduce our second speaker, Tan Huynh. I have the pleasure of introducing him. Tan is an international teacher and brings a wealth of expertise. He co-teaches, he co-plans, he writes books, he does a wonderful podcast. And because he is so humble, he asked for a short introduction, and I'm going to pass it right over to him. Go ahead, Tan.
Well, it's great to see everybody. Hello. Thank you for coming to ML Summit. Very quickly, I'll just show you the visual of what Katie just shared. I work at the International School Phnom Penh. I'm still a teacher. Uh, I work in grades, currently grade 7, but I've worked from fifth grade to 10. And these are one of the classrooms that I work with. So I co-teach with the art teacher, the music teacher, the drama teacher, the design teacher. I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do that, right? I don't know why they put me in drama. Maybe I'm just a little bit dramatic here. I also took a job that did not have ELD service at the school, where but the service was that kids were pulled out of classes and that's all they had. And then everyone else, every single person in that room was a multilingual, but there was no EL teacher in content classes. So I chose to take that position intentionally to say, do these practices really support kids there are 125 kids that I have to teach grade 6, 8, and 10? Do these strategies work? And they absolutely do. That's when I started getting gray when I was working at the school, but I also started getting gray when I was working in elementary because wow, the practice there, the need to be excellent was incredible. And I grew tremendously from my work with elementary school students and colleagues. This is my fifth grade students. No matter where you are in the world, you can always tell you're in elementary school when kids sit on the ground, no matter how big their bodies are. When I'm not doing any of those things, I'm nerding out on all things MLs. I have a podcast that only my mother listens to on 2 times speed. I have a book that I make my in-laws purchase. I write several books, and I'm so honored to write the first one with Dr. Katie Topo and Carol Salvo under Sidelets. The books that you purchase, thank you, help me pay for my several loves. This is Bo, and we take him to badminton, and this is my newest love, Jampa. He likes to destroy things such as my rental deposit. There you go. When I was working with Beth, so one of the books that I've just luckily enough was able to work with, Beth and I wrote a book about experienced multilinguals. We're working with content teachers in content classrooms. How can you implement SIOP principles to make things comprehensible without having all those just to make it accessible for you? And then teachers were saying, this is great, but what about us? What about teachers who are ELD and we don't have, you have a book for our colleagues, but what about us? So this is my actual classroom that I work in. There's my microwave where I make my food because I have no other time to go to the cafeteria. Beth and I then sat down, we wrote this book, Integrated Literacy for Experienced Multilinguals. We took everything we knew from SIOP, WIDA, Understanding by Design, and other texts in the field to put it together. And if you are here at this session, it's because you want to know how to develop students' skills beyond the newcomer level. If you have newcomers, go to Dr. Carol Salva. Fabulous. If you have newcomer in elementary school, Dr. Katie Topple, there is no one better. I miss those days when Katie was on Twitter and she was sharing everything. And I was like, I'm a better person and a teacher because of your stuff, right? So this book is not for about newcomers. It's for kids who have progressed beyond that. Okay? So we'll look first who are characteristics of what we call long-term experience multilinguals. Everybody get ready to type in the group chat. Yeah, the answer is here. MLs who have enrolled in the in US schools for how many years without reaching academic fluency? And this can be also Canadian schools. How many? That's right. Hello, Leah. Good to see you. It's already there in the evening. 5 years. They've enrolled at least for 5 years and they have not reached English fluency. So let's move to the next one. Developed. They have highly developed what kind of language? I'll give you some options. Yes, they have highly developed oral language. They can tell you about everything. Can you pause and tell me some of the things that your students are knowledgeable at? For example, some of my students are really knowledgeable about Minecraft. Like, what is this thing? Soccer. Yes, they have clothing, food, video games, songs. Absolutely. They can tell you everything about those things, right? They have developed social language, but they have underdeveloped, they can tell you about Taylor Swift, yes. They have underdeveloped academic literacy. Oh my goodness, everyone is, oh, did you see my CALP? Someone said CALPS as well. Well, I'm so surprised. So there are in many districts in the world, they are the smallest or largest. What do you think? That's right. They are in many districts, they are the largest. While newcomers often get our attention because there's like, oh my goodness, what do we do with these kids? The largest population is where kids can't progress to academic language. And this is what the session is about. Okay? So, have experience learning what we call experience, long-term experience multilinguals. What do they have experience in, particularly, do you think? If they've been in schools for at least 5 years, they have oral language, what other things are they experienced in? Type in the group chat. Got it. Navigating coaches. Thank you, Nicola. Life. They have experience with all life, how school works. You don't have to show them like all the cognitive, like if there's a bell, this is what we do. Here's a fire drill. Here's the exit. Here's how to change your clothes into uniforms. They have all these experiences, right? And they also have experience in English as well. So newcomers, can you finish the sentence for me? We want our newcomers to say things like mountains are or plateaus are. Here's a trick, by the way. When you're working with newcomers, you always want them to finish the last part of the sentence, not the beginning, not the middle, but preferably at the end because the first part starts a sentence, right? New mountains are, plateaus are. So this is a plateau if you're not familiar with a plateau. Can you type in the group chat? Mountains are large, flat top. Thank you, Carol. Flat, tall. Thank you, Michelle. Type in the group chat. Mountains. Yes, montañas. In Spanish. Thank you, Maria. Tall. You got it. Okay. So this is what our newcomers are. They're just giving us one word or short phrases. But our social language students who are progressed, they're no longer newcomers. They have social language. They say these things. Mountains have round peaks. Mountain peaks can also be triangular. Mountain peaks are called summits. Plateaus are flat at the top. Plateaus have steep slopes, right? We often get so excited that our students just like answer like what are plateaus and they give us like flat tops. We get so excited they get the content and then we move on. Sometimes we say give us full sentences, which is fabulous, but they'll give us the same language they use in oral language to give us academic content. They will say simple short sentences. Can you try, here's a task. I'll give you about 20 seconds to do this. Can you try to put all these 4 details about mountains and plateaus into a single sentence? And that is academic. Let's see what you can do. Mountains have round peaks. Mountain peaks can also be triangular. Mountain peaks are called summits. Plateaus are flat at the top. Plateaus have steep slopes. Can you try to put all these ideas into one sentence? About 10 seconds. Try to do it in 20 seconds. About 10 more seconds, everybody. Oh, here they come. I'll wait for everyone else to give me ideas. Oh, thank you. Mountains, Leo said mountains have round peaks, but plateaus are flat. That's right. Triangular peaks, triangular round peaks, mountains are called summits. Yes. Sandra, hello. Mountains are triangular, have round peaks, and are flat at the top and have steep slopes and are called summits. Great. Here is a sentence possibly that your students would put or can produce. While mountains have triangular rounded peaks called summits, plateaus have flat extended tops. Would you be happy if your students were able to produce that kind of sentence. Isn't that incredible if your students can do that? And they can with the right conditions, just like Dr. Dorina said, we're creating the conditions for that, right? I would not be just so happy I would know that they would begin exit now if they could do something like that. If they can produce a sentence like that, they can read a sentence like that. Okay? So, very quickly, Dr. Cummings from Canada said that there's a concept, some of you talked about CALPS and BICS. It takes 2 years for our students to become fluent in social language. Our newcomers quickly grow. But it takes 5 to 7 years for explicit language in cognitive or academic language proficiency. And that's why in many districts, long-term or experienced multilinguals are the largest because it takes them so long to get there, right? That's with explicit instruction. So, guiding question number 2, what type of literacy instruction do many experienced multilinguals typically encounter in schools? Here is an example. Oftentimes they do package stuff. Here, let's read this package for grade 7 and 8, 10 captivating stories, answer questions. Let's listen to things on DVD. Oh my goodness, are there still DVDs around and CDs? Oh my goodness. Their comprehension, there's 6 practices and they're leveled. Then we go, let's do speaking because that's one of the domains as well. Let's have 50 prompts for speaking. Okay? And then finally, oops, that's writing as well. Let's write about UFOs and a person who does a skeleton that walks around and then this space thingy or these monsters, like, and then just write about it, right? What do you notice about this approach to instruction? Can you type in the group chat? What do you notice about this? It's a zombie king. Thanks, Denise. What do you notice about this type of instruction? They're not integrated. They're disconnected. And you know the person who shows some of the best kind of integrated instruction is from Dr. Katie Topple. And like I constantly learn from, go to the polar bear example, and she's fabulous at that. It's random, it's disconnected, and so like it's not helpful. Exactly. Let me just prove to you the point that in the field, this is the practice, and not people at ML Summit, it's just in the other fields. When you look at the Amazon bestsellers, this is in July, the top 6 books are workbooks. The only one about instruction is The Writing Revolution. There's a book about handwriting for teens. There's ABC, My First Learn to Write. These are disconnected activities for words, writing, but except for The Writing Revolution. And that's happening here. So I just want to share with you when I graduated from ESL in fourth grade. I entered 5th grade mainstream, so I was no longer pulled out along with the dinosaurs. And so one of the units was about The Island Blue Dolphin. Fabulous book. I still remember all the activities, such as sitting and listening to my teacher read and have her explain the book. It's a fabulous read. I just enjoy it so much. We did reader theater. She gave us props and sticks and animals to represent the coyote. And she put things on us and we had to act out the scenes. And then we took annotations. That was the first time I learned about annotations. And she specifically asked us to ask questions about the book or things that we liked about it. And then she said, anytime you see a new animal, just write like a new animal as an annotation. And then I still remember this. This is not mine, but we have to do something like a diorama, right? And then like to show her island. While this is now thematically connected, what is limited about this practice? What do you notice? What's limited about this practice? While yet it is thematically connected, what is not quite there? Yes, there's no language, Michelle. I was never asked to learn how to read the text, nor to write about it. There was listening and speaking, but there was actually no real writing instruction. I was made to do tasks, and like that was all it. So now question 3, we're moving to our next part of the guiding question. What can explicit ELD instruction look like? These are my actual students using the process that I'm going to show you. And it goes back to Dr. Dorina's screenshot here. I just took it here. And the guiding question, I'm going to change that question for what do ELD students need or at that level is what are the conditions that grow academic language? How do we put the fire in our language? Comprehensible input. Denise, did you see my slides before? Oftentimes, our students will say, thank you, you've made me read a text. I do not understand it because that text, they're asked to read it and then they're asked to do comprehension questions at the very end of the chapter or do a book report at the very end. It's because there's too much text to process. So my recommendation and Beth as well, is to segment the content into manageable pieces, not chapters, but actually segments of text with brief, informal opportunity to process so that, just like Denise said, there is content, the text is comprehensible. Right? So how can we teach language and content together explicitly? So this is something that I and Beth created. It's from the input. It's called the input output loop. We took it from reading, talk, read, talk, write from Nancy Motley. And we're like, wait, what's another process we can call this? Input. In the field like PsyOp, we have to make content comprehensible so that there is output. There are many ways to have input, reading, listening, semi-lesson simulation model videos, but then we have to immediately provide opportunities for output. Look how many things I've already been asking you to give output. Or Dr. Dorina's session. Oh my goodness, so many output. Yes, swirl brings to mind, Candace. That's absolutely right. Let me give you a model. Let me model what it would look like to use the approach that Beth and I are recommending in our book. So let's go to Island of the Blue Dolphin, the actual text that we talked about. This is the first page. I remember the day the Aleut ship came to our island. At first, it seemed like a small shell afloat on the sea. Then it grew larger, and was a gull with folded wings like a seagull. At last, in the rising sun, it became what it really was, a red ship with two red sails. So now we don't just move on to the text. We provide an opportunity to students to process input and structured output. Here we go. What we do is we don't just ask students who, what, where, when, how questions. We always start with a thinking verb. So students know what the thinking verb is when they take the state standardized tests. Here it is. Contrast what the narrator thought she saw to what it really was. Use noun verb detail, comma, but noun verb detail. And then we don't just say, okay, go and go write it. We actually guide students through the practice. What did the narrator think she saw? Can everybody type in the group chat? What did the narrator think she saw? What did the narrator think she saw? Or what I thought she saw? What did the narrator? Yeah, she thought she saw a shell floating on the sea. Absolutely, a small shell. And we are happy with that they have a very quick answer. And then we move on. Great, not a problem. What was it actually? Oh, Marcella, great. Read a text. It was a gull folded with wings. What was it actually? What was it actually? A red ship with two sails. Absolutely a red ship. And we're happy the kids get it. Perfect. Now, can you combine answer to guiding question 1, guiding question 2 into a noun verb detail, comma, but noun verb detail sentence structure? Can you try to do that now? Get the answers and write in the full sentence with comma, but. At first, she thought she saw a shell, but it was actually a red ship. Thanks, Liam. So you saw this presentation. I updated the presentation, by the way, so you'll see it differently. The narrator thought she saw a seashell, but it was a red ship. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, Katie, the narrator thought she saw a shell, but it was actually a red ship. You got it, everybody. You got the information. Look, now we just taught students. They get simple sentences. They love answering simple phrases because it doesn't require them to go full sentences. But now we're asking them to give a structured response. Now with their response, we know that they can understand the content, but also now learned an academic sentence structure. Right? So let's move to the next text to give you this experience. My brother and I had gone to the head of the canyon that winds down to a little harbor, which is called Coral Cove. We had gone to gather roots that grow there in the spring. Again, we give a guiding structure quick write. We start with a prompt. Right? Summarize a chore that the characters have to do during spring. So it's summarized. We give a very clear thinking verb. Noun, verb detail, comma, so. Guiding question one, what season is it? Can you type in the group chat? What season is it? Spring, you got it, everybody. You got the answer. So what are the characters looking for in Coral Cove? They're looking for roots. You got it, everybody. Rebecca, Leah, thank you, Sandra, to gather roots. Can you put now the sentence? Can you answer the question using a noun, verb, detail, comma, so? Can you now create your sentence? Summarize the chore the characters have to do in spring. In spring, yes, Leah, we have to gather roots. Fabulous. Leah is an advanced student, so she used a different sentence structure. Perfect. Let's see if everybody else can, in addition to use that. Can you use a noun, verb, detail, comma, so? Noun, verb, detail, comma, so. Yes. Let's see. Yes, in spring, it is spring, so the characters are trying to gather the roots. Yes, that's exactly Jennifer Voorhees. Thank you. Renee, it's spring, so we can gather roots in a little harbor called Car. Oh, now you're adding textual details. Look at that. The brother and the narrator, hi Tina, went to gather roots at the Coral Cove. You got it. It's spring, so they gather roots. Look at the different. Look at the different You're using the same sentence structure, but look at the different words that you are using to talk about that. We're teaching sentence variety without a worksheet. Okay? So, how does a structured quick write work? We start with a prompt that contains a thinking verb. If there's no thinking verb, it doesn't help prepare them for the state standardized test, but also for university or career experiences when no one's going to ask who, what, where, when, how, why as much. They're going to ask you to do a very specific task. Argue, narrate, and propose. That's why it's important to start with a thinking verb if you're not working with newcomers. Newcomers, who, what, where, when, how, why. Easy. So then here's the content. We start with thinking verb, then we provide the content. More importantly, we provide the sentence structure to get that answer. That is where we merge processing the content with output of the language. So now we support kids by adding guiding question one. Guiding question one is the content that starts the answer for our combined sentence of noun, verb, detail. Guiding question two does the second part. With the content, students combine them and then they produce their finished sentence. Cool, huh? It's so scaffolded, right? Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate that. Okay, so let's move. Where did I learn this? I learned this from the Writing Revolution about writing instruction at the sentence level. I always thought like writing instruction was so hard, but then Dr. Hockman said, start at the sentence level, make it manageable. I also learned about sentence combining through Joan Sedita. She, in a workshop and in her book, she just said, here are the different parts of a sentence, combine them together. But for our MLs, they need more support than just say, here are the different parts, go combine them together. Right? They need that scaffolding part. And Natalie Wexler talked about content needing to be about text-based. The more your lesson is connected to content or text-based, the more comprehension they actually start. There is a place for pulling students' assets, fabulous, getting them connected to the content, but not at the expense of making time for text-based instruction. Okay, so let's look here. We will practice this. Now I'm going to give you practice with writing structured quick writes for grades 2 to 3 with the rainbow fish. Get ready. So I'm going to read a text for you. A long way out on the deep blue sea, there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. My prompt is this. Explain what was special about the fish. Use noun verb detail, comma, so. Colleagues, I'm going to ask you to give me the guiding question one, guiding question two, by looking at my combined sentence. What I'm doing now for the next few sessions, the next few slides, is actually I'm giving you a chance to plan a structured quick write like I do. I read the text, I write out the prompt that I want my students to do, then I actually write the response I want my student to write using the sentence structure. The rainbow fish was the only fish that had sparkly scales. So if I want my students to get that first part to the comma, what's my guiding question? Can you write a guiding question? Now is when you can write who, what, where, when, how. Yes, Leah, describe the fish. What's another one? Perfect. You can even say, describe the fish's scale. Yes, here they come. Ashley, what are different about the rainbow fish, Jennifer, what did the rainbow fish have? You got it. What made the fish unique or different? Absolutely. Now the next part, guiding question two. So this made him unique compared to the ordinary fish. What will you ask your students in guiding question two to get the second part? This made him unique compared to the ordinary fish. What guiding question would you ask him? Or ask students? Guiding question two. Just put GQ2 or GQ2. That's right. How was he different from the other fish? Absolutely, he was unique. Thank you, Dr. Michelle. How was he different? How is he different? You got it, Jennifer and Sarah. That's it. You got it. Contrast the fish from the other fish, Leah. Yes, I love the word compare. Hi, Adam. Good to see you again. Okay. So here's what I did. What did the rainbow fish have that the other fish did not? Did the scales make him unique? And my questions are fine. Like you don't have to use my questions, but the goal was to go through the process of writing a structured quick write, reading a text, writing a prompt to a comprehension question. You already asked kids comprehension questions. Now we just put it on paper to ask them to write it out. We backwards plan from our model response that we hope our students will produce. Then we write the guiding question, one and two, so that it gets there. It's backwards planning at the sentence level, right? Let's practice this again because I want to give you multiple examples of practice. The other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him rainbow fish. Come on, rainbow fish, they call. Come and play with us. But the rainbow fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. So we start again with the prompt. Explain how the rainbow fish interacted with the other fish. Use comma, but, noun verb detail, comma, but, noun verb detail. I'm not going to give you my guiding questions, but I'm going to give you my combined sentence. Let's see if you can plan backwards the first part. The ordinary fish invited the rainbow fish to play. What will you ask your kids to get the answer to this? What will you ask your students to get this? Yes, Karen. What did the other fish call him special fish? What did the other fish call the special fish? Yes. Marcella, what did the ordinary fish do? Who invited the rainbow fish to play? Yes. Exactly, Tina. Can you do the guiding question number two now? But he responded by ignoring them. Try to take the words from my question and input it into your question. Did the special fish respond? Yes. And yes, no questions are perfect because guess why? We teach our students to pull from the guiding question to start their answer. Even if it's a yes, no question, like for example, Marcella, did the special fish respond? So you would say the special fish responded by. There you go. See? Perfect. Okay. So here are some examples, I would say. What did the ordinary fish invite? Oh, wait, what did the ordinary fish invite the rainbow fish to do? How did he respond? And I want my students to use sentence mirroring. Sentence mirroring is one of the best strategies for newcomers and all MLs, including it means take the words from the question and put it in your answer. And so this is how we actually teach tenses and like other features of language as well, right? Because we write out questions so that they really are clear and helpful. Yeah. Last one before we go on, right? Actually, we do have time. So you already get the practice. We're not going to actually give you any more experience. Actually, I do want to give you one experience. I actually want you to give me experience of writing the prompt. You ready? Okay. One day, a little blue fish followed after him. Rainbow fish, he called, wait for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. They are so wonderful. And you have so many. You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are? Cried the rainbow fish. Get away from me. Shocked, the little blue fish swam away. He was so upset. He told all his friends what had happened. From then on, no one would ever would no one from then on, no one would have anything to do with the rainbow fish. They turned away when he swam by. Can you, colleagues, start? This is the main idea. We want our students to understand that the rainbow fish upset all of his fish friends because he was selfish. Can you write a prompt? I know that you can write guiding questions now. Can you write a prompt for me for this text? Start with the verb. Always start with the verb. Always start with, can you write a prompt for this segment of text to get our students to say the rainbow fish upset all of his fish friends? Yes, Adam. Hey, why did the rainbow fish want the fish scales? Yes, absolutely. If you're working with newcomers, absolutely use why. If you're working for experienced multilinguals, consider using verbs as well. Explain the reaction of the rainbow fish to his friends. Absolutely. Look at the different questions you can ask. Hi, Ashley. Describe how the rainbow fish upset his friends. Jennifer, explain how the rainbow fish's action resulted in the fish not associating with him. Yes, look at that. Hi, Dr. Carol. Describe how the rainbow fish upset his friends. You got it, right? So now what we would do, what's the next step? If we were to do this, we would write out the yes, combined sentence. Think about a sentence structure you want your students to write, right? Think about a sentence structure. It can be a noun verb detail, comma, and, or noun verb detail, comma, but, or noun verb detail, comma, so. So now I want you to write your model response and pick one of these sentence structures. Noun verb detail, comma, and, but, or so, noun verb detail. Can you write your response to your answer using one of these sentence structures? And then I'm going to screenshot it and put it here. Yes, analyze how the perfect. I'm going to screenshot your model response when you're ready. I'll put the text up again. Write a model response you want your students to answer from your prompt using noun verb detail, comma, and, but, or so. I know you're taking your time because this is cognitive work on a Saturday during your summer. Thank you, Karen. I'm going to screenshot as they come in so you can see as an example. Yes, I'll leave it up here. Karen, the rainbow fish upset the little blue fish because he would not share his special scales. Absolutely. You can use because as well. Thank you, Leah. Now Viptito comma so. Now give me the full sentence as well. Perfect. Oh, yes, Jennifer, you got it. And I'm going to add Jennifer and Leah's together because they use comma so. Let me just copy this so you can see my screen. Second. Here, the rainbow fish refused to share his colorful scales, so the other fish refused to interact with him. Great use of refuse twice. I'll get Jennifer. Yes. Let me just get a few more people. Emily and Tina, fabulous. Let me just get another slide. Okay, I have 4 minutes left. I'm happy that perfect. Let me show you the examples here. The other fish ignored the rainbow fish because he was so rude to the little fish. From Emily, Tina, the little blue fish wanted a shiny scale from the rainbow fish, but the rainbow fish would not give him the blue fish any fish, any scales. Absolutely. Look at all the different ways. These are so impressive. Yes, Dr. Kara, if you want to unmute and say why you're impressed with these, that would be great.
Well, I
What do you
just
know?
I just focus so much on newcomers I know. So thinking about our students who are able to do more and you're offering like just step by step and practice for us to raise the bar. I'm just
Yes.
impressed with everything in the chat. It's
And
amazing.
and this goes back to Dr. Dorina's thing of like, we're gonna up the heat in our rooms, in our classrooms. So our newcomers can actually do something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. So type in the group chat, everybody. What did you notice about a structured quick write, the process of a structured quick write, compared to something like tick the answers on the right-hand side, like click, 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 or buying something from teacher pay teacher? Like, what do you notice about using a structured quick write compared to our typical comprehension questions? Or like, let's do a diorama, let's do a model, let's do a theater, like let's reenact the play. What do you notice? And Carol, when you want to read some examples, can you read some examples from
You want
people,
me to
Carol?
read some from the chat?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
goodness, goodness. Okay. Um, it's more effect. Okay, chat. Wait, what am I reading? Because a
Just
lot of things are coming
people's
in the chat right
responses.
now.
People's
Sorry?
responses. People's
Some
responses.
responses. I mean, everybody, there's so much going on in the chat. So I'm going to stop one right here. I like how you increase the academic vocabulary students use through questions in addition to the text. Students are using much more sophisticated language in the structured quick write. Thank you, Elise. Leah Roy says scaffolds writing from simple to complex,
Yes.
step by step. Thank you, Sandra Crump. Increasing the students' thinking, increasing rigor. There's just the
Yes.
chat's flying.
Yes. And this is it. And I think this is combining now what we were hoping, right? We were hoping that our students will leave with saying like, I don't understand the text. Now they do understand the text because of your question, but because of their answer, but now they're producing an answer in a very specific academic sentence, right? So I know that I have 1 minute left. So I will just very quickly show you that. Do I just do sentence level? Absolutely not. Once I teach and but so, I teach transitions using hat. Comma but becomes however, full stop, however. Comma and becomes full stop, additionally. Comma so becomes full stop, therefore. This is how we start at the sentence level and then we go one sentence and sentence number two together, right? And then at the end of the session, we can actually build on a paragraph. When we want students to summarize, this is what I ask my students. TABBS. Give me a topic sentence, use noun verb detail, noun verb sentence mirroring. Sentence two should be a detail that communicates text related details and using comma and. Your summary should also use comma but to show contrast. Your summary should also have a comma with a because to show cause or reason and analyze the effect using comma so. At the sentence level, we teach students this, but then at the paragraph level, look what they can produce in one unit because we upped the ante. Okay, so I am done my time, but I wanted to then give Carol, can you pick a random person who will get the book? And then if you here is the access to the book, if you can use the code to get 25% off. And like the authors can tell you, all the authors here can tell you that we don't make a lot of money in books at all. Like I could work at Zara and make more money and have cute outfits, right? We do this for the kids and our field and our teachers. So here's access to the code as you need. Okay? I'll stop the share and then in a minute, and then Carol, you can take it away.
Yes. Thank you so much.